Now let's look at the accessories. Divided into facial features. Palms. Soles. Tail and clothing. Among them, facial features include ears, nose, mouth, blush and eyes. Now please watch my demonstration. First, we'll make the inner ear. The ear is divided into the outer ear and the inner ear. For the outer ear, we'll start with the foundation chain. Crochet in rounds. For the inner ear, we'll use the magic ring method. Work back and forth in rows. Once completed, sew it onto the corresponding position. Please watch me demonstrate. Let's start by making the inner ear. First, work the magic ring. In the chart, the starting method is the magic ring. Pick up the yarn tail with your right hand. Wrap it around your left index finger twice. Now there are 3 strands of yarn on your left index finger. Use your right thumb and index finger to pinch the overlapping part of the loops. Take it. Hold the yarn with your left hand. Pick up the hook with your right hand. Insert the hook into the loop. Pull the yarn through. Make a chain to secure. Pull tight. The magic ring is now complete. The loop on the hook should be slightly loose to make crocheting easier later. Now let's start row 1. Our 1 is 3x, meaning work 3 single crochets in the magic ring. After that, close the magic ring. There are 2 loops. First, gently pull the starting yarn tail. 1 loop becomes movable. Tighten the movable loop. Only 1 loop remains. Simply pull tight on the yarn tail. The loop is now secured. That completes row 1. Next, we'll work row 2. Make 1 turning chain. Turn means to turn your work. Turn the piece counterclockwise like this. Then work 3 SC2 in 1. After turning, the stitch corresponds to the upper left position. That completes row 2. Continue with row 3. Make 1 turning chain. Turn the piece counterclockwise. Crochet corresponding stitches following the chart. That completes row 3. Rows 4 to 7. Follow the stitch chart to complete crocheting. After finishing crocheting, secure with 1 chain. Leave a 30 cm yarn tail for sewing. That completes 1 ear. For the other ear, follow the same method to complete. Now let's make the outer ear. Follow the stitch chart to complete crocheting. After completing, leave a 40 cm yarn tail for sewing. Thread the reserved tail through the yarn needle. Then take the head. Find the position from round 2 to round 7 on the head. Mark it with the yarn tail. Then start sewing. When sewing, need to create a curve like this. There's no specific sewing method required, just make sure it's sewn on securely. Fasten and weave in the ends after sewing. So one ear is now attached. The other ear should be sewn on symmetrically. That's all for the outer ears. Now let's sew on the inner ear. Take the piece. Let's first weave the yarn tail. Then tie a knot. Next, we'll use the wrong side of the 7th round as the right side of the entire piece, with the right side facing out. Sew it onto the outer ear. Insert the hook into the reserved yarn tail. Pick up a loop from the outer ear. Then pick up a half stitch from the inner ear. Repeat this process. Then tie a knot and weave in the ends. The inner ear is now completed. Do the same for the other side and complete it. Now let's make the nose. It consists of piece 1 and piece 2. Both are crocheted in rounds counterclockwise. First, crochet piece 1. Now, watch me demonstrate. Piece 1 is crocheted in spirals. First, chain the corresponding stitches. I've already started it here. First, place a marker in the second to last stitch as a mark. Then work the corresponding stitches in order at the marker position. After completing it, do not slip stitch. Start crocheting round 2 directly. Pick up the first stitch and make a SC2 in 1. This is the spiral crocheting method. After completing it, for each of the following rounds, the first stitch, remember to place a stitch marker as a mark, so you won't lose track of where the first stitch is. Follow the chart to finish the remaining rounds. After completing it, leave a yarn tail of about 30 centimeters for sewing. Look everyone, this is what it looks like after crocheting. After completing it, join with the first stitch using a slip stitch. Chain 1 to secure. Then leave a length of yarn about 3 times this length. For sewing, thread the yarn through the yarn needle. Take the main part. Sew piece 1 onto the head between the 10th and 14th rounds. Which is this round here? First mark the position with a stitch marker. Position the nose properly. Use a stitch marker to secure the head and piece 1 together. This way it's fixed in place. Then start sewing. Pick up half a stitch to sew. First pick up one strand of yarn from the head. Then pick up the back loop of piece 1. Adjust as you sew. To avoid crooked sewing. When half is sewn, add a little fiber fill inside. Tie off and weave in the ends after sewing. This completes the sewing of piece 1. Next, make piece 2. Start with an adjustable magic ring. After completing, crochet the first round. Crochet 6 single crochets into the magic ring. Tighten the yarn tail. Then join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Now crochet the second round. Make 1 chain to begin. Crochet 1 single crochet into the loop of the slip stitch. Two chains. Then crochet 1 half double crochet into the adjacent stitch. And another single crochet into the same stitch. Next, crochet 1 single crochet into the next stitch. Two chains. When completed, crochet symmetrically on this side. Crochet 1 single crochet. Crochet 1 single crochet into the adjacent stitch. 1 half double crochet in the same position. Two chains. Crochet 1 single crochet on the last single crochet. When completed, leave a 30 cm yarn tail to close the opening, and sew. Thread the reserved yarn into the yarn needle. To close the opening, pick up the first stitch loop. Pass through. Then pick up the back loop of the last stitch. Pass through. Slightly tighten. This way the opening is closed neatly. Now proceed with sewing. Thread the reserved yarn tail from piece 2 into the yarn needle. Sew piece 2 onto the position of piece 1 from round 1 to round 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Piece 2 is placed like this. Pick up 1 stitch from piece 1. And the back loop of piece 2. Don't cut the yarn after sewing. Continue to embroider the mouth. Move the yarn to underneath piece 2. Embroider the mouth. Then count down 3 stitches. Insert. Then count left 3 stitches. Pull out the needle. Then count up 1 stitch. Move right 6 stitches and insert. Then pull out at this point. Then take 1 strand from it. Sew with this thread. Pull the needle out from any position. Then take this thread. Thread the needle. Don't sew this part. Simply pull the needle out at the spot where you pulled out the strand earlier. Divide the thread into 2 and tie a knot. Weave the thread inside piece 1. Trim off the excess tail. That's it for the mouth. Next, let's make the blush. There are 2 in total. The crochet method is the same for both. Start with an adjustable magic ring. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Now let me demonstrate. First, start with a magic ring. Then work 7 single crochets into the ring. After completing the first stitch, if you can still find the first stitch, there's no need to place a stitch marker. Once completed, join with the first stitch using a slip stitch. Move on to crochet the second round. Make 1 beginning chain. Then work 7 SC2 in 1 into the left stitch 1 by 1. Once completed, slip stitch to connect. That completes the second round. For rounds 3 through 7, the stitch techniques have already been demonstrated before. Just finish them accordingly. Once completed, leave a 30 cm yarn tail for sewing. This is what the blush looks like after it's done. Thread the starting yarn tail into a yarn needle. And bring it to the right side. Weave the thread. Trim off the excess yarn tail. Follow the same method to complete the other blush. Now it's time for sewing them together. Take the reserved yarn tail and thread it into the yarn needle with the wrong side facing out. Sew the blush onto the round that's level with the nose piece. And position it a bit closer to the nose. Pick up a thread from the surface of the main part. Pull it through. Then pick up a front loop from the blush. Pull it through. Pick up a thread from the surface of the main part again. Pull it through the front loop of the blush. You don't need to match one stitch to another when sewing. Just keep it roughly even. Continue using the same method. Sew around the entire circle. When done, tie off and weave in the ends neatly. Trim off the excess yarn tails. And one side of the blush is completed. The other side of the blush. Just sew it on symmetrically. That's all for the blush. Now let's make the eyes. There are 2 in total. Please watch my demonstration. First, start with a foundation chain. I've already made it here. Then, work 1 slip stitch in the second to last stitch. Don't pull the slip stitch tight here. Then work 1 single crochet on the left stitch. Five half double crochets. One single crochet. And 1 slip stitch in the last chain. When completed, leave a 20 cm yarn tail for sewing. The other one can be made the same way. Now it's time to sew. Thread the reserved yarn into the yarn needle. Sew the eye onto the row that's level with the nose piece and the blush. Slightly bend it to create a curve like this. Half of the eye should cover the blush. After sewing, tie a knot with the starting yarn tail. Weave the yarn tail. This way the eye is securely attached. For the other side, follow the same method to sew it in place. That's all for the eyes. Next, let's make the palms. It consists of two pieces, piece 3 and piece 4. Both start with a foundation chain. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise from the starting chain. The stitch pattern for piece 3 is quite simple. Please refer to the chart and crochet the required number of piece 3. Now I'll demonstrate the crocheting method for piece 4. Watch my demonstration. First, start with a foundation chain. I've already prepared one here. Then start by crocheting 4 single crochets in the second to last stitch. When completed, skip 2 chains. And on the third stitch, crochet 3 single crochets in sequence. Here we skip 2 stitches. When completed, it's SC3 in 1. Crochet 3 single crochets into the same stitch. When done, follow the chart and crochet 3 single crochets in sequence. Two SC2 in 1. These 2 SC2 in 1 are worked into the 2 skip chains. Pick up a strand and crochet. Three single crochets. One SC2 in 1. When completed, join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Then begin round 2. Make 1 beginning chain. Then work into the left stitch. 1 SC2 in 1. Two single crochets. Skip 2 stitches. Work into the third stitch and crochet the corresponding stitch pattern. When completed, join with a slip stitch. This completes the second round. Next, crochet the third round. First, work 3 single crochets into the left stitch. Followed by 1 decrease. Work into the entire stitch. This completes the SC2 tog. Continue working into the left stitch, crocheting single crochets one by one. When finished, leave a 30 cm yarn tail for sewing. Cut off the yarn tail. This completes piece 4. For the other piece 4, follow the same method. Crochet it accordingly. Next, attach the pom. The pom is sewn onto the side closer to the body. First place piece 3 and piece 4 like this. Check if the position fits properly. Once it fits, sew together by working half stitches along the outline. The sewing method is the same as for the blush. This completes the pom. Next, make the sole. It consists of piece 5 and piece 6. Both start with a foundation chain. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise from the foundation chain. Refer to the chart to complete the corresponding number of piece 5 and piece 6. Once done, leave a 30 cm yarn tail for sewing on each. Sewing the sole. You need to place them like this first. Check if the position fits properly. The sewing method is the same as for the blush. Pick up half stitches along the outline. This completes the sole. Now let's make the tail. Start with a foundation chain. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise along the foundation chain. Follow the chart to complete it. Once completed, leave a 40 cm yarn tail for sewing. Now proceed with sewing. Thread the reserved tail of the tail through the yarn needle. Sew the tail onto the body between the 3rd and 4th rounds. There is no specific sewing method required, just make sure it is secure. Once completed, fasten off and weave in the ends. That's all for the tail. Next, let's make the clothing, including the hat, collar and star decorations. First, let's start with the hat. Using the magic ring method. Crochet in spirals. Now watch me demonstrate. First, start with a magic ring. Crochet 7 single crochets into the large space of the magic ring. Remember to place a marker in the first stitch. After completing the first round, no need to join with a slip stitch. Next, let's crochet the second round. Simply pick up the stitches and make 7 SC2 in 1. Each round's first stitch needs to be marked with a stitch marker. That completes the second round. Next, rounds 3 through 19. The stitch patterns have already been demonstrated earlier. Everyone, finish crocheting them. Now let's crochet the 20th round. I'm using this small sample for demonstration. The number of rounds and stitches are not for reference. First, work even without increasing or decreasing. Keep crocheting until one stitch before the end. Now we've reached this position. Work a slip stitch into the adjacent stitch. Place a stitch marker on this stitch. Then join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. Pull tight. Next, crochet the 21st round. Simply turn the work over. The stitch corresponds to the upper left position. Insert the hook into the single crochet of the previous round and work a slip stitch. First, hook into the slip stitch braid to crochet. That is, the position of the stitch marker. Continue crocheting this round. When done, connect with a slip stitch to the first stitch braid. Pull tight. This completes the 21st round. Next, crochet the 22nd round. Turn the work over. Then pick up the slip stitch braid from the previous round and crochet a single crochet. Right here. Do not pick up the single crochet from the previous round here. Continue crocheting this round. This completes the 22nd round. Now let's crochet the 23rd round. Starting from this round onwards, the first stitch of each round needs to be marked with a stitch marker. Continue to complete this round. Rounds 24 through 27. Simply crochet them all the way down. Now let's crochet the 28th round. I'll demonstrate using this small sample. The round numbers and stitches are not for reference. The main focus is to demonstrate the method. This round involves picking up the front loop of the stitch. Meaning this single strand of yarn right here. Work a single crochet into it. Continue crocheting this round. This completes the 28th round. Rounds 29 to 30. Crochet even with regular single crochets. Once done, the 30th round is complete. Now we'll crochet the final round. This round involves working slip stitches into the stitches from the previous round. Once completed, join with a slip stitch. Pull tight. This completes the 31st round. Chain 1 to secure. Then leave a tail about 3 times the hat circumference for sewing. Pull tight. The stitch marker can now be removed. That's all for the hat. Next, we'll sew the hat together. Sew the hat onto the 4th round of the head. Align the front with the 4th round. The back is the same. The 2 sides should be near the ears. Leave a small gap. The sewing method is the same as for the nose piece. Stuffing needs to be added during the sewing process. Sew the hat well. That's all for the hat. Next, we'll make the star. It's divided into 2 parts, the star and the ribbon. Each part has 2 pieces. First, let's crochet the star, divided into section 1 and section 2. Section 1 is worked back and forth in rounds. Section 2 is worked back and forth on top of section 1. After completing the 2 pieces, stack them together. Work a round of single crochet around them. Finally, sew them onto the corresponding position. Next, please watch my demonstration. First, let's work on section 1. Start with a magic ring. After completing it, finish the first round. After completing the first single crochet, place a stitch marker to mark it. Continue crocheting. After completing it, tighten the magic ring. Then join with the first stitch using a slip stitch. Leave the stitch marker in place. This makes it convenient to find the first stitch position when crocheting later. After completing it, crochet the second round. Make 1 beginning chain. Turn the work. Pick up the stitch and work a SC2 in 1. Remember to place a stitch marker on the first stitch to mark it. After completing the last SC2 in 1, you can remove the stitch marker from the first round. After completing it, join with the first stitch using a slip stitch. For rounds 3 to 5, follow the chart to complete crocheting. After completing it, don't cut the yarn. Next, crochet section 2. Start with row 1. Make 1 beginning chain. Turn the work. Then work 7 single crochets evenly. After completing it, make 1 turning chain. Turn the work piece. Start with 1 SC2 tog. Here, pick up the entire stitch for crocheting. This completes the SC2 tog. Then work 3 single crochets evenly. Finally, crochet 1 SC2 tog. This completes row 2. Next, make 1 turning chain. Turn the work piece. Crochet 1 SC2 tog in sequence. 1 single crochet. 1 SC2 tog. This completes row 3. Next, crochet row 4. Make 1 turning chain. Turn the work. 1 SC2 tog. One single crochet. This completes row 4. Next, crochet row 5. Make 1 turning chain. Turn the work. Work 1 SC2 tog. This completes row 5. Secure with 1 chain. Leave a 5 cm tail and break the yarn. Tighten up. This completes one corner of section 2. Next, crochet the second corner. Hold the yarn with left hand. Insert the hook into the adjacent single crochet. Pull the yarn through. Make 1 turning chain. Work 1 single crochet in the same position below. Then work 6 single crochets evenly in the adjacent stitches. The first row of each corner takes up 7 stitches of section 1. Finish the remaining corners. After completing the last corner, leave a 5 cm yarn tail, then break the yarn and weave in the end. Also weave in the rest of the yarn ends. That's all for the star. Follow the same method. Crochet another piece. After completing the last corner of this piece, don't cut the yarn. Cut the yarn after completing the other corners, and weave in all the ends. I've already finished mine here. Next, take the piece with the cut yarn. The first round is the right side of the piece. Place them together, and work around along the edges. Make one turning chain. Turn the work. Work a SC2 in 1 at this top corner. Then work single crochets corresponding to the 4 rows on this side. After completing, work a slip stitch here. Work 4 single crochets corresponding to this side. Work a SC2 in 1 at this top position. Follow this method and complete this round. Add a little fiber fill inside when finishing up. Then join with the first stitch using a slip stitch. Work a chain to secure. Break the yarn leaving a 5 cm tail. Weave the yarn tail inside the piece. Everyone, this is what the star looks like after completion. Next, crochet the ribbon. First, make a foundation chain. Here I've already made it. Start working 5 single crochets on the second to last stitch one by one. Six half double crochets. After completing, work a DC2 and 1 in the next chain loop. Yarn over, insert, yarn over, draw the yarn through. There are now 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pass through the first 2 loops. Yarn over again. Pull through all loops at once. This completes 1 double crochet. Work another 1 in the same stitch. This completes the DC2 in 1. Next is a CH1 picket. First work 1 chain. Then pick up 2 threads like this and make a slip stitch. This completes the step. We'll call it picket later for short. After completing, work 3 chains. Then work a slip stitch in the same stitch. Then work 3 chains. After completing, work 1 picket. First work 1 chain, then pick up 1 strand from the second last braid. Work 1 slip stitch. This completes the picket. Work 1 DC2 and 1 in the same position. After completing, pick up the remaining 2 strands and work 6 half double crochets. Five single crochets. Then join with the first stitch using a slip stitch. Pull tight. Work one chain to secure. Then leave a 20 cm yarn tail for sewing. Everyone follow the same method. Make another ribbon. Next sew the ribbon onto the back of the star, which is the wrong side of this edging round. Place the ribbon between two corners. Front side facing up. Thread the reserved yarn into the needle. Begin sewing. No specific sewing method required, just make sure it's securely attached. Once this side is sewn, sew this side. When done, tie off and weave in the ends neatly. Weave the thread inside the star. This way, one ribbon is sewn on. The other ribbon. Sew on the adjacent position, between two corners. The sewing method is the same. Everyone, sew this one on as well. Next, sew the star onto the main part's head. Sew it on the edge of the hat, at the position 2 rounds below. There's no specific sewing method required, just make sure it's securely attached. That's all for the star. Next, let's make the collar. Divide it into section 1 and section 2. First, crochet section 1. There are 2 pieces in section 1. The crochet method is the same for both. After completing them, connect the 2 pieces and crochet section 2. Then crochet 1 round of edges and add wire for shaping. Finally, crochet 1 round of slip stitch for decoration. Please watch my demonstration. First, let's crochet section 1. Start by making 4 chains. Work a DC 2 in 1 in the 4th chain from the hook. Make a DC 2 in 1. After completing, make 3 chains to start. Turn the work counterclockwise. On the last double crochet, make 1 double crochet. Then make 1 double crochet in the adjacent stitch. After completing, in the turning chain of the previous row, pick up 2 threads and make a double crochet. It looks like these 2 threads. This completes the second row. The crocheting method for rows 3 to 13 is simple. Just crochet them all the way down. Pay attention to row 11. There's a new stitch technique, FWDC 3 in 1, which means making 3 double crochets in the same stitch. Next, crochet row 14. First, carry the yarn across, stretch the loop. Thread the workpiece through the loop. Pull tight. Attach yarn to the third to last single crochet of the previous row. Draw the yarn through. This completes the yarn carrying. This carried yarn. Don't pull it too tight or too loose. Then make 1 chain as your turning chain. Work the corresponding stitch techniques into the adjacent stitches. Once done, please complete rows 15 to 16 as well. Now let's crochet row 17. Make 3 chains to start. Turn the work. Then work double crochets into the stitches of the previous row. Once done, crochet 9 chains. Row 17 is now completed. Continue to crochet row 18. On the second chain from the hook, pick up 1 thread and work 4 single crochets in sequence. Four half double crochets. Once done, work 7 double crochets in sequence on the left stitches. Row 18 is now completed. Leave a 5 cm tail, cut the yarn and weave in the ends. Follow the same method to complete the other piece. Once done, don't cut the yarn. So section 1 is now finished. Next, let's move on to section 2. Start with row 1. Make 1 turning chain. Turn the work. Then work single crochets in sequence on the stitches. Once completed, crochet the corresponding number of chains. Then take the previously finished piece. Locate the first single crochet of the last row. Work a single crochet. Insert. Yarn over and pull through. Then work single crochets in sequence on the left stitches. This connects section 2 with section 1. Next, let's work row 2. Make 3 chains to start. Turn the work. These 3 chains count as 1 stitch, corresponding to the single crochet of the previous row. Then work a double crochet without increasing or decreasing in the adjacent left stitch. When encountering a chain space, pick up both strands and work a double crochet. Complete this row. This completes row 2 of section 2. Next, rows 3 through 9. The stitch pattern is simple, everyone can complete it. When done, leave a 5 cm yarn tail, cut the yarn and weave it in. Next, add the edging. Locate row 12 of section 1. The first single crochet of this SC2 in 1, which is right here. Insert the hook. Take out the wire. Fold the wire in half. Insert the hook through this end of the wire. Take the corresponding yarn. Hold the yarn with left hand. Draw the yarn through. Make 1 beginning chain. Then work 1 SC2 in 1 in this spot. Mindful. Keep the wire on top of the hook while crocheting. Wrap it into stitches as you go. Once the SC2 in 1 is completed, continue on the double crochet. Crochet 3 single crochets. Everyone pay attention not to forget to wrap the wire. Once done, pick up the entire chain and crochet 3 single crochets into it. Everyone follow this method. Crochet this side all the way down. Once completed, crochet 1 SC2 in 1 into the remaining 2 strands of the starting chain. Next, we're moving to this side. Rotate the piece. Work into the chain and the double crochet respectively. Crochet 3 single crochets. Now we've reached the half double crochet position. Into this stitch, crochet 2 single crochets. Next, chain 2. Pick up the chain and crochet 2 single crochets into it. Continue working into the chain and the double crochet respectively. Crochet 3 single crochets. Now we've reached row 1 of section 2. Pick up the first row single crochet and crochet 1 single crochet into it. On row 2, pick up the entire chain and crochet 3 single crochets into it. Because the gap here is larger, you can pick up a thread from the inner side to crochet into. Now we've reached row 3. Pick up the entire double crochet. Crochet 3 single crochets. If the gap here is too large, you can also pick up a thread from the inner side. Crochet evenly all the way down this row. After finishing this row, we've reached the chain of the last row. Crochet 3 single crochets. Then pick up the third braid of the chain. Meaning pick up these 2 strands and make 1 SC2 in 1. Then continue crocheting evenly one by one. Crochet up to the stitch before this double crochet. Now we've reached this position. Make one SC2 in 1 on this double crochet. Then follow the demonstration from earlier. Crochet symmetrically. Keep crocheting all the way to this position. When you're close to the ending position, if there's extra wire left, fold it like this. Weave the wire into the stitches. When making the last single crochet, also thread through the wire. Then cut off the excess wire. Now the part where the wire needs to be wrapped is completed. Continue crocheting the edge. Work even on the stitches. When you reach a carried yarn section, weave the carried yarn into the stitches. When you reach a chain and double crochet position, pick up both loops and make 3 single crochets. When you reach a chain, pick up the remaining strand and make a single crochet. Finish with a slip stitch. Cut the yarn leaving a 5 cm tail, and weave in the end. You can weave in a few more stitches. That's all for crocheting the edge. Next, work a round of slip stitches as decoration on the collar. Take the corresponding yarn. Hold the yarn with left hand. Insert the hook into the first stitch, where you wrap the wire. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. Then follow the path of the single crochets you made when wrapping the wire. Work slip stitches along that path. Approximate positioning is fine. Just keep them even. That's how you finish the slip stitch decoration. Cut the yarn leaving a 5 cm tail, and weave in the end. Weave the tail in from this point. Follow the texture of the piece to weave it. You can weave in a few more stitches. And that's how you finish the collar. Now place the collar onto the main part. Then cut a piece of thread about 20 centimeters long. Thread the needle. Sew this part together. Just make sure it's securely stitched. Next, take the button. Sew the button onto the collar. Once done, tie off and weave in the ends neatly. And that's how you finish sewing on one button. Next, take another button. Sew it onto the 8th last round of the body. Right here. Pick up a stitch from the surface of the body. You can sew it a few times for extra security. Then tie off and weave in the ends neatly. That's all for the buttons. All the accessories have been covered. Up to this point, the making method of this doll is completely explained. If you have any questions during the process, don't hesitate to reach us via our website, Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you all for watching. See you in the next episode.